The violent Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua has made a name for itself in the United States, and just in the last couple of days, Homeland Security Investigations has sent out a memo to its staff stating that there are direct threats to police in local areas of the United States. That includes Denver as well as Albuquerque. Now, these threats are, quote, to greenlight attacks on cops and shootings of cops. The memo, which went out this week, cites, quote, credible human sources from Colorado that have made the information available to law enforcement. And the source of the memo is from the Chicago Homeland Security Field Office, where authorities say that there is already a presence of the violent gang. Now, many of its members have been known to come into the United States in recent years, with Border Patrol only tracking their movement since March 2023. There have been about 70 encounters of Tren de Aragua members at the border. Now, in addition to that, they've done a huge recruiting efforts in places like New York City and Chicago, as well as other sanctuary cities like Denver now. Denver has received about 42,000 migrants in the last couple of years, and that's the most per capita out of any U.S. city. The ways that Tren de Aragua members are known to come into the United States is by infiltrating the southern border, and that's their main route. However, they've been sneaking in and getting past local authorities and their vetting procedures. And this is because they're not getting tattooed and any of the markings that show they're members of the gang until they're in the United States. Border Patrol sources tell us they can't really do thorough vetting of Venezuelans in general because the Venezuelan government doesn't share information on its own citizens with the U.S. Further complicating matters, really difficult to remove them from the United States, so deportations are very minimal and only to Mexico for Venezuelans. And Mexico only accepts a few of them. They really don't accept the huge amounts that the U.S. would need to deport. The Biden administration has recently designated Tren de Aragua as a transnational criminal organization, and it's offered large amounts of money for the hunting down of its leaders. In the United States, several of the gang's members have been tied to prominent crimes, including last month's shooting of 2 NYPD cops by a Venezuelan migrant who's tied to the gang. That migrant later admitted to being tied to the gang and also getting tattoos for the gang in the United States after he arrived from the border. He also later admitted that in New York City, migrant shelters are hubs for gun smuggling for the gangs, which are using food delivery bags to bring in their guns to the shelters. In January, the gang is also believed to be tied to the assault on NYPD cops in Times Square. It appears that the gang has been operating strongholds in areas like New York City and other sanctuary cities across the United States, and law enforcement across the country are being warned to remain vigilant about their activities and potential attacks on cops.